Alrighty, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy White Album here. Welcome back to another Witch on the Holy Night video. Last time we left off, we had the girls Toko and Alice in the middle of their battle. So let's see how this fight will end. So let's keep going, shall we? Oh, can't record. That's fine. Doesn't matter to me because I'm gonna go save. Quick load. Here we go. Yeah, so I believe she broke out of the trap and then she attacked Alice back, and then Alice was like, psych, I'm actually a bird clone. So here we go. Blue feathers flitted all around. Toko felt something behind her and turned. 5 cat-shaped bells were thrown at her feet. And just as quickly as they shattered to pieces, standing before her was a completely unharmed Alice Kuonji.
そよ風みたいなルーンね。トウコさん、本当に鈍った？
That rune was just a light breeze. Have you really lost your touch, Toko?
うつせみか。術者の身代わりになるプロイの話は聞いてなかったな。
You used a double. I never heard of a ploy that can take the form of a mage.
ええ。1年のうち365日は役立たずで。どうしてあんなのが古参なのか、私も疑問だけど。殺されることだけは得意なのよ、彼。
Well, you have now. He's useless every other day of the year, but comes in handy when someone's trying to kill you. Oh, so she's talking about the boy Robin. There he is. As if responding to Alice's words, a bird began chirping frantically. An ominous sacrifice. Who killed Cock Robin? Echoed in the night, sang out of tune.
ああ、そんな歌もあったな。
Man, what an unfortunate name for that rhyme, right? What an unfortunate name for that rhyme. Ah, that old rhyme.
だがあれは一度に1回しか殺されない。2度目はないし、あったとしても。
But you can only kill it once. Not that it would matter if it was more than that. The bird squawked, a very unbird-like death throw. From behind Alice, the blue bird fell from its tree, a victim of Toko's mystic eyes.
本当に使えない。
So useless.
さて。ではやり直しだ。
How about you and I start over?
あとも使えている。これで終わりにしよう、アリス。どのみち、この公園では手がないだろ。
Or rather, let's end this now. You're out of options in this park.
そうでもないわ。確かに、今の私にあなたの魔眼は破れない。
I don't think so. Granted, I may not be able to break free from your eyes.
けれど。
But
Beauty of his Wu-Tang Clay, Wu-Tang Clay, Wu-Tang Clay, Beauty of his Wu-Tang Clay, my fair lady.
you heard what she said. I'm not singing that. I could. I'm not going to. The song came from the depths of the earth, stirring a mighty quake to mark the birth of something gargantuan. Toko needed to throw Alice into an infinite hell before whatever that was could be completed. I think that's fuck, you know what? I'm not even gonna say what I was gonna just say. But she was far too late.
Wu-Tang Clay will wash away, falling down, falling down. Beauty of his bricks and mortar, my fair lady.
I don't know if that's how the original tune went, but you know. The ground burst to life. A finger, then another, and another, all rising up like towers. Earth, snow, and brick knitted together, manifesting a giant stone golem.
そんなバカな話があるか。
What the hell is this?
なぜこいつが出てきやがる。
What's this freak doing here? Toko was so angry and confused that she could barely gather her thoughts. The bridge giant. The monster from the Minster's fairy tale rose from the ground, ruining Toko's plan. Because I'm guessing it destroyed all the little rooms that she made. The giant was extremely powerful, but can only be summoned under one condition. It must be in proximity to a natural river. That was the monster's one and only condition. Goddamn, so Alice is over here playing fucking Yu-Gi-Oh and shit, dude. But this park was nowhere near one. And on top of that, it was rising up directly between Toko and Alice, mid-battle.
あら、
Oh,
あるでしょう。すぐそこに。
there's a river, all right. Let me get to like an underground reservoir.
川と呼ぶには小さな、すぐに消えてしまうものだけど。
Well, I suppose river is a bit of an exaggeration, and it'll be gone soon. Toko lowered her gaze. She was standing in a puddle of water. Oh, because of the snow. That makes sense. The scarred red mage was dumbfounded. That was why Alice had used Diddle Diddle before. While the bells could be replenished, they were valuable to Alice, and she spent 5, throwing them in an intentional line for the sun runes to destroy. From there, that they spelled there wrong,
雪解けの流水か。
a stream of melting snow. And just like that, she's dead. Oh no, it's still building itself up. Holy shit, that thing is... Alice is so cool. She really is. Forget Aoko, bro. We stand Alice in this household. The arms of the Thames troll rose up from the stone paving. The monster's torso alone surpassed 80 feet. Its form was made entirely of stone. Previously, she had created one using the trees of a forest. However, Toko knew instantly the monster before her was at least twice as powerful.
止まれ。
Halt! She unleashed her stacked mystic eyes. They were meaningless at this stage. They had no effect on the giant. As said, mystic eyes can be countered in 2 ways. Not looking into them and then poking them in the eyes with your 2 fingers. I feel like I'm gonna get out of this storyline for a bit. It's crazy how in Tsukihime, you know how Shiki has his mystic eyes of death perception. How come Roa just doesn't poke him in the eyes? Because Roa's the bad guy, right? Just poke him in the eyes, dog. You're a dead apollo. You got the nails, dog. You got the razor sharp claw nails. Just poke him in the eyes. It's not that hard. I mean, that's what I would have done. I mean, shit. I guess that's what happens when you spend your entire life focusing on immortality, but you know. Alright, now back to this story. As said, mystic eyes can be countered in 2 ways. The first is to hide oneself from view of the mage. That was the standard response. The other way, however, was devilishly simple yet 100% effective. In fact, it was less of a way and more of a fact. Mystic eyes curse a target by focusing on them. However, if the target was too large to focus on entirely, then it won't work. Makes sense. Hold on, is this thing rocking a fucking mohawk? That's pretty sick. The answer was, one could barely stop a single arm. The giant, unfazed, raised his right arm and swung it down onto the ground, destroying thousands of runes. Power Geyser! The demolished stones were then absorbed into its arm, adding to its mass. As the mage had said before, no matter how deep the night, these little suns won't set. While the suns might not set, they could be crushed under the bulk of a giant's hand. Bars? Oh, there's like a statue in the middle there. You see that? Like right there next to Alice? Like a face? The victor of the battle was decided. Toko Ozaki closed her eyes and prepared to escape. The stray dogs began to whine, fearful of the hulking figure before them.
参ったな。私ではマインスターには勝てなかったか。
You win this one, Alice. Looks like I'm no match for a Mindster after all.
まあ、そのあたりは今後の課題としよう。
Let's pick this up another time, shall we?
呆れた。逃げられると思っているの？トウコさん。
Do you really think you can escape, Toko-san?
まさか。そこまで鈍ってはいないよ、アリス。
Oh, please, Alice. Give me some credit.
第一、逃げるとしたら、それは私の方じゃないからね。
I should mention, I don't think I'm the one who needs to escape. There was no hint of bravado in Toko's tone. Even in the face of a Titan she had no means of harming, her confidence was unshakable. The reason being,
ま、前座は終わりだ。来い、ベオ。
the opening act's over. Come out, Bayo. Like Beowulf. This was no longer a battle with skill. A fight for survival had begun. Snap went Toko's fingers. In response, a beautiful high-pitched melody floated up toward the moon. It echoed all around them. The spiral held dredged up ancient primal memories. Its source emerged from the shadows and landed next to the mage. Griffin? Alice's lip trembled faintly, not from fear, but with admiration, once she recognized the creature before her. Oh, that's gold. I thought it was white. It was a majestic golden beast, beyond the domain of both magical and phantasmal, simply divine. It was a life that should have been passed from the world with the age of gods. The mystic derived from human wisdom, preserved by thousands of generations of hidden tradition. A recreation of miracle that once freely walked the earth, the natural enemy of magecraft, able to crush it with ease. Quiet resignation settled over Alice's face. The golden beast charged. This time, she didn't even have a chance to admit defeat. So, I mean, you're telling me this giant fucking golem that she has can't just mollywop that thing to the next fucking century? I guess not, apparently. She could hear the beast breathing in her ear. It seemed she had been unconscious for a short time. Alice opened her eyes and took a deep breath. Each cough sent pain shooting through her body. Blood rose from the pit of her stomach, and she spat onto the cold ground. With her vision returned, she was able to make out the distant sky, falling snow, and the golden wolf. The wolf panted. It stared at Alice, saliva dripping from its mouth onto her cheek. Razor-sharp fangs lined its jaws. Its fur was glossier than that of any animal she had ever seen. Brutal, knife-like claws protruded from its massive blood-stained claws. And yet, it did not smell like a beast. Surely the presence of such a noble creature, a human to feel like the lesser animal. The battle between Alice and the wolf was over before it had begun. After destroying the troll, it baptized Alice with its own wicked claws, giving no chance for her to escape. Its sideswipe had torn into her abdomen like a sword, carving through her clothes and flesh, all the way to her heart. Even so, not once did Alice make a sound. The wolf had pinned her and stared at her face. Her limbs felt ready to break at any moment. Hold on, let me rethink this. So huh? So this wolf is like some being that's higher. That's obviously higher than like magecraft. So that's why I was able to easily defeat the troll. Well, that's kind of damn. That's like fucking summoning Blue Eyes White Dragon, and you're fucking and your opponent uses that card that gives your monster to them. That's kind of like what just happened to her. The situation, or that was the situation she found herself in. Now fully conscious, or yeah, Alice stared at her enemy through pained eyes. She felt no fear, only cold reality setting in. Sensing Alice's demeanor, the wolf suddenly paused, its paw still raised. They looked at each other's eyes.
そんなに血が出てるのに痛くないんだ。
Of course this thing talks. You're bleeding. Doesn't it hurt? The wolf's voice came as a surprise. There was no doubt it had spoken.
それとも痛いのは平気なのかな。
Or are you just fine with the pain? The wolf's voice sounded innocent, almost childlike, in complete contrast to what had happened up to that point. The wolf smiled.
どっちにしろ我慢強いんだね、お姉ちゃんは。
Either way, you've got guts, lady. The wolf opened its mouth wide and clamped its jaws around Alice's neck.
ベヨ
Toko's tone was sharper than the wolf's fangs. The wolf froze.
トウコさん。
He? Okay, never mind. What is with Japan giving male characters female voices when they're represented as like an animal or as a younger? I mean, I understand it's like a younger boy because I mean they do that here in America too. But it's like, oh, that's a cool dragon. Oh, it's a she. It's like, no, that's a he. You're like, oh, fuck. Okay. He let glow. He let go and slowly turned his head towards the voice.
とどめは刺すなと言ったろ。余計な仕事を増やす気か、バカもん。
Didn't I tell you not to finish her off? Are you trying to make extra work for me, you mutt?
チェ、それはそれで楽しいのに。
But that's the best part.
ああ、退屈。話に聞いた橋の巨人も結局は他の生き物と一緒だったし。
Well, this is a washout, or this was a washout. And that troll went down like everything else. Man, talk about a disappointment. The wolf backed away from Alice, as if no longer interested in his prey. To the golden, well, that makes sense if his name is Bayo. Sorry that I just got off track there. To the golden beast, she was little more than an old chew toy.
なんだ、もう意識が戻ったのか。心もタフなら体も大概だな。骨まで砕いてその程度の出血とは。マインスターの教育の賜物かい？
Conscience again. Even with all that blood loss and broken bones. You're tough. Do I have the Meister training to thank? Barely clinging to life, Alice stared at Toko. But not a stare of hatred and defeat, but one of disbelief. Alice simply wondered why Toko had brought such a beast.
ああ、紹介が遅れたな。
Ah, pardon me. I should have introduced you.
彼はおそらく地上で現存している最後の人狼だ。
This is the last known werewolf on Earth. Yep. I mean, if you have dead apostles, you have to have a werewolf.
北欧の奥地に生きる彼らの一族の中に現れた生粋の原種だよ。
A pureblood, born to an indigenous tribe in the northern European tundra.
見ての通り、先祖返りなんて言葉じゃ表せない黄金の神秘でね。名前がなかったんで、わかりやすくベオウルフと呼んでいる。
As you can see, he's a golden mystic. And it doesn't do him justice to say he merely resembles his ancestors. He didn't have a name, so I called him Beowulf. Pretty apt, right? I think it's a bit on the nose, but sure.
ベオウルフ。
Yes, Alice, like the legends. Alice's face was perplexed, even though she hadn't wavered when she was disemboweled. Beowulf, the name of the heroic giant slayer from Danish legend. It came from Old English, a combination of honeybee and wild beast, a bear, in other words.
なんでそんなちぐはぐな名前を。
Kind of an incongruous name.
ん？いや、可愛いからに決まってるだろ。
What do you mean? It's cute. Perhaps because of the name, or because of the golden beast itself. Fighting the pain, Alice struggled to read Toko. In this respect, she was worse than Aoko.
ついでに説明しておくと、周りの犬どもはベオが勝手に呼び寄せたものだ。私自身、マインスターの娘がただの畜生に傷つけられるとは思ってはいないよ。
Incidentally, Bale called these other mutts in. Naturally, I didn't think they'd have any effect on a monster's daughter.
今のところは。ね。
For now, at least. Toko's mouth twisted into a grin. Not the warm one Sojiro saw, but the merciless smile Victor displays to a loser. The disdain in Alice's eyes turned to anger. She's like, "You cheating bitch." The Golden Mystic. Akutoko had brought such a creature into the human world.
何？需要と供給だよ。
Come now. It's just supply and demand.
過疎化は人間だけの問題じゃない。彼らもいい加減、昔ながらの生活には限界が来たらしくてね。話し合いの末、高額で私が買い取った。
Depopulation is not just a human problem. Their old ways were unsustainable, and so I bought them for a high price.
と言っても、あくまで里から出すだけの権利だがね。
Well, more like I had to pay for the right to bring him out of his cave.
お察しの通り、私の髪はベオとの契約に使い切った。自分の髪を使って分身を作るより、強大な怪物を縛り付けた方がよっぽど健全。ん？
As you might have guessed, I used my hair for the contract with Bayo. I like to think of it as creating an alliance with a beast instead of creating a familiar. Huh. While she was talking, Toko noticed something strange. Something just squished in my ear and I did not like that. An unusual sound. What? How do you say this word? A pre. Fuck, man. All right, hold on. I'm gonna pause real quick so I can look up this word. All right, and I'm back. All right, so a preternatural sound that tore at the mind. See, I looked it up. I did it. Your boy smart. A sound that should have not existed. Mm. And it was coming from the girl's open abdomen. Oh gosh, she has a chest burster.
もう復元が始まったか。いや、というより、これは。
Regenerating already. No. Wait. So damn, not only does Alice know soul magic, she also got that blood magic? Bro, she's a straight up Mortal Kombat character.
ん？何この匂い。トウコさん、なんかワクワクすること起きてない？
Hmm? I think that's how you say that. What's that smell? Smells like something amazing is going to happen. Curious, Beowulf moved closer, like a puppy examining a new toy.
見るな、あっちに行っていろ、ベオ。正気を失っても知らんぞ。
Don't look at it. Stay over there, Beo. Pull yourself together. Tucko shooed the mud away with her hand. Beowulf lowered his head meekly and withdrew.
教育方針を間違ったかな。まったく、乙女の腹を見ようなんて恥を知れ、恥を。
I must have trained you wrong. Going for a girl's belly like that? Shame on you.
トウコさんだって見てるじゃない。
So? But how come you're allowed to look?
バカ。私は乙女だからいいんだ。
Idiot. I'm a girl, so it's fine. Yeah, I don't think he really cares. Okay, like, I'm pretty sure he could tear you apart if it wasn't for the contract. If Olgo had been there, she would have blasted them away for their impudence, just as she did the flat snark.
まあ、しかしむごいな。
You know, I feel sorry for you.
こんなになるまで放っておくとは。マインスターは人の親とは言えまいよ。
How could your mindster mother call herself a parent when she's neglected you so much? With a gloved hand, Toko ran her fingers along the wound of Alice's abdomen. A flash of pain ran through Alice's body. Alice held in her screams, but she finally let out a long breath. She turned her face away, in pain or shame.
ほら、もう肌も復元している。骨格、血管はおろか、内臓にまで施された、おびただしいまでの刻印だ。
The skin's here regenerating already. So many crests on the bones, veins, even the internal organs.
生後、肉体に魔術回路を付加することは、諸刃の剣だ。
Having magic circuits like that from birth is a double-edged sword.
呪文と自分を一体化させることにより、栄唱の手間を省き、術者に多大な利点をもたらす魔術刻印。
They cut incantation time, which is a great boon for a mage.
しかし、それは多ければ多いほど苦痛を伴う。青崎の刻印は腕一本分。まあ、君に比べれば少ない方だな。
But the more there are, the more pain they bring. Alzakis have crest in one arm. We've got nothing on you, do we? The magic crest Toko referred to were the inheritance of the Alzaki family, passed down by their ancestors. They can only be inherited. Aoko had received the ones that were meant for Toko.
しかし、それも良し悪しだな。
However, ours has its own set of drawbacks.
右腕に刻印をした青子の痛みは、残る人間の体と神秘となった右腕とが反発する程度だ。通常の肉体が右腕を否定し、抹消にかかる痛み。
The pain Aoko feels in her right arm is the reminder of her human body reacting to being changed into a mystic. Her mundane body rejects her right arm, and that pain is the cause of its deletion.
精神的にも肉体的にも生じる幻痛は、現在にも似て拭い去ることはできない。
It causes both physical and mental phantom pain, like some original sin that can never be wiped away.
だが、ここまで来ると痛みも何もあるまい。そもそも生きている実感はあるのか？自分が人間だとまだ信じている？ああ、本当に。お互い非凡な死を持つと苦労するね、アリス。
Still, when you've come this far, pain becomes trivial. Trivial. I don't know, I said that so weird. It makes it difficult to know if you're really alive. Do you still believe you're human? Honestly, I sympathize. We both had a hard time with such extraordinary teachers, haven't we, Alice? Toko took Alice's body in her arms. The wounds from Beowulf had mostly healed. Even so, her breathing was shallow, likely due to the pain. Toko gently held the girl's face in her hand.
マインスターには恩がある。それに、私の相手はあくまで青子一人だ。
I'm indebted to your Mindster mother, and my true opponent has only ever been Aoko. Oh, is that what we're doing? Okay. I was about to say, I think we're staying on this on this screenshot a little too long here, game. Alice's lung pinned for oxygen. Aoko pressed her lips to her. The young girl wriggled, trying to escape, but Toko held her firmly. Beneath the blue moon, the two remained frozen. And then, the sound of swallowing. Something solid slid down Alice's throat. With that, she went limp and her arm fell. After setting Alice down by her side, Toko stood up.
今のは七かまどに手を加えた私の特製品だ。そう簡単に解毒はできない。魔力を流せば体の中で暴発する仕組みになっているから気をつけなさい。
I've given you a dose of my own blend of Rowan, not easily counteracted. So if you use magic energy, it'll explode. So do be careful. What the hell is Rowan again? Was that the poison that they were giving to Sojiro, or was that like some healing ailment? I don't remember.
ああ、口移しは私の趣味だから。特に気にすることはないよ。
Oh, and don't read too much into it. Passing things with my mouth is just something I like to do. Okay, first of all, I don't know if this game was kind of rushed when they were doing the translations because it just says passing things with Y mouth is just something I like to do. So I just had to put the letter in. As she desperately clung to consciousness, Alice looked up at Toko from the ground. The disgrace from the kiss was greater than the pain she felt in her body. Oh god, was that like her first kiss? She was like, damn. My first my first kiss was taken away by an older woman. Toko began walking away, her golden wolf in tow. Neither looked back to see Alice's hateful glare.
と。そうそう。一つ言い忘れていた。
Ah, I almost forgot.
ベオが呼び寄せた野犬たちだけどね。公園の外にまだ山ほどいるんだが、困ったことに彼らは本来何を口にするべきかを思い出している。
Remember those mutts Bayo called? There's a ton of them around the park, and unfortunately, they're still hungry.
ベオの野生に刺激されたんだろう。獣はより強い獣に従うものだからな。
Bayo's an alpha male. Seeing what Bayo did to you must have really fired them up. In a roundabout way, Toko had read Alice her last rites. In nature, it was common for the weak that can no longer move to offer their bodies up to feed the strong.
じゃあ、私は行くよ。
Thank God that's not common practice anymore.
歩くことも満足にできないだろうが、無事に帰れるといいね、アリス。
Well, Alice, I think that's everything. It's a long walk back, but hopefully you'll make it safely. With a twisted grin, the mage headed into the darkness. As her footsteps faded, the sounds of growls grew louder. Alice could still barely focus her eyes. The hounds looked like monsters out of a picture book. Alice took a deep breath, her consciousness slipping away. The sky was blue. The trees were tall. The park was a graveyard. In the corner of her eye, though, Alice could not just make out could just make out a solitary phone booth. The phone rang. All right, we're back with Sojiro. It was the second time Sojiro had heard its voice echo through the cold foyer. Only a few minutes had passed since Alice called. He wondered what she could want this time. She's like, I'm fucking dying, asshole. Fucking help me. The call persisted, determined not to leave him to his thoughts.
はい、クオンジですが。
No, he went through it. Hello, Kuonji residence.
あら、その声は宗十郎くん？
Oh, is that Sojiro I hear? A cheery voice. Sojiro had been expecting Alice. It was Toko Ozaki. Somehow, Sojiro was not surprised.
そうですけど、トウコさん、暇なんですか？
Yes, it's me. How are you, Toko? He checked the time. He thought it was about midnight by now. No matter what the situation, Sojiro always kept his cool. He could hear Toko trying to suppress a laugh. After taking a while to compose herself, she started talking again.
ごめんなさい。ちょっとツボ入っちゃったみたい。
My apologies. It seems you have a penchant for catching people off guard.
で、質問の開始ね。これがあんまり暇じゃないな。私も今日で終わらせる予定だから忙しいんだ。
Anyway, to answer your question, I've been very busy today, trying to finish off everything.
偶然ですね。青崎もそんなことを言ってました。
Huh. That's a coincidence. Yeah, Aoko was just talking about you.
やっぱりそうね。こういう時は本当に姉妹だなって思うわ。昔からエンジンかけるタイミングだけは一緒だったから、あの子とは。
I thought she might. At times like this, you can tell we're sisters. In fact, that's the only thing we ever have in common, or ever had in common. Timing.
ところで、青崎はやめてって言ったでしょ。私も青崎だからくすぐったいのよね。そう言われるの。
Oh, I bet you try to get her to stop as well. As an Aozaki, I know she didn't take that too kindly. I wouldn't. Dude, Sojo's like, you don't fucking understand. I told her to fucking clean after herself, and she started choking me out. Like, what the fuck? Sojo realized she was probably right. Aozaki's words made more sense now.
まあそんなわけだから、長話をする気はないんだ。
Cutting to the chase. I don't have time to gossip.
単刀直入に聞くけど、そっち
Is,
に
o-
青子はいる？
is Awoko there? It almost sounded like she was worried about her sister's whereabouts. I don't think so. But the cool-headed Sojo had not forgotten Toko was their enemy. Keeping Aoko and Alice in mind, he decided to be evasive.
さあ、なんて答えてほしいんですか、トウコさんとしては。
Who can say? I'm not sure what answer you expect, Miss Toko. The question shifted the tone of the conversation drastically. Sojo could hear Toko muttering to herself in annoyance. Sojo was proven more quick-witted than she had anticipated. A change of tack was required.
そうね。君には何も答えてほしくないっていうのが正解かな。
I suppose not giving me an answer is probably the best course of action.
第一印象で君を無視するのは良くない気がしてたけど、やっぱり私は宗十郎君を手にかけたくはないみたい。
On first impressions, I thought I'd be wise to not ignore you. But now I don't think I want to get you involved.
君はこのまま無関係でいてちょうだいね。
So for your sake, stay out of this, okay, Sojiro? It's like, because I want you to be all mine, boy. Her warning came from the heart. Sojiro responded flatly, once again not giving any sign either way. It seemed she wanted him to stay out of this too. Even Sojiro could tell the girls were being kind in their own way. But who asked for their kindness? There you go, buddy. Stand up for yourself. Fuck what Aoko did, bro. Rip that shit off.
じゃあ、さよならね。私は君が思ってるほど暇じゃないから。
I'll say goodbye then. I'm much busier than you think.
でも、最後に一つだけ。君を試すようで悪いんだけど、伝えておかないと一生恨まれそうだし。
Although, there's just one tiny thing. I know this is hardly fair, but I'd never forgive myself if I didn't tell you.
なんで、そうならないように、責任の半分を君に押し付けちゃおうかな。
So, I'll just have to put half of the responsibility on your shoulders. Toko giggled. I laughed to show she had him in the palm of her hand from the beginning.
さっきクオンジさんに会ってきたの。
I met Miss Kuwonji a short while ago.
彼女から電話があったでしょ。
She called you earlier, didn't she? Her tone had not changed. She sounded as cordial as before. Even so, as soon as Sojiro heard Alice's name, a chill ran up his spine.
彼女、今ひどい状態なんだ。満足に歩けないどころか、体中の刻印が活性化して破裂寸前。宗十郎君が骨折の痛みを知ってるなら、うまい例えようがあるんだけどね。
Well, right now, she's in bad shape. She can barely walk, in fact. And if she uses any crest, they'll tear her to pieces. Oh, and those broken bones? Ouch. Dog, what if Sojiro was just like, what if he just was like, okay, I forgot where that's. I'm trying to like remember the Tobey Maguire the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man quotes. Like I missed that. Fuck. What is the quote? Forgot it, man. He was like, I think I missed where that's fuck. What is it? Dog, I'm like legitimately like I'm trying to remember, but what if it's just like, okay, so They want me dead. I'll fucking leave her to die. I don't give a fuck. Kill them both. I'd just go back on my merry way. The fuck?
まあ、ともかくだ。いつ気を失ってもおかしくない状態なんだけど、災難なことに怖い野犬に囲まれてるみたいなの。
At any rate, she could lose consciousness at any time. Not great news with all those scary stray dogs around her.
個人的な意見だけど、10分もあれば骨しか残らない結末になるでしょうね。
If you ask me, she has about 10 minutes before she's nothing but a pile of bones. She spoke as if she was telling a joke. If it was a joke, it was in bad taste. However, Sojiro knew this was anything but. She was telling the truth. He had not heard of dogs attacking anyone in town, but the noise he heard while on the phone with Alice suddenly made sense. Dogs, a pack of them, no doubt about it. They were surrounding their prey. Why he had not what? I know what cotton is, but I've never heard of this word. Is it supposed to be connected? Fuck it. Why he had not connected on sooner? Sure, whatever. Squeezing the receiver in his hand, Sojiro cursed himself. Alice had been calling for help. Even when backed into a corner, she had not wanted to involve Sojiro. Still, she needed help. The way she said his name so lightly.
場所は
Where is she? He spoke abruptly. Even though he knew Toko was an enemy, he was confident he would answer him. That was the reason she called.
教えてあげてもいいけど、そうした瞬間に君は私の敵になるのよ。その覚悟はある？
I can tell you, but just know that the moment I do, you become my enemy. Do we have a deal? Okay, I just looked it up. I missed the part where that's my problem. Yeah, if fucking Sojiro said that shit, bro, that'd be big baller status from him. Sojiro realized what was happening. He was being tested. By ignoring Alice, he'd be confirming that he did not want to get involved. If I was him, I wouldn't. I don't give a fuck if Aoko gets mad at me. Like, look, I never wanted to be in part of this at all. So, but if he decided to save her,
それで場所は
tell me, where is she? Sojiro ignored Toko's question. Dog, I struggled through that one. 4 words and I struggled through that. I don't know why. Of course, he was not prepared to become her enemy, but he was even less prepared to let Alice die. He had lost his ability to think sensibly. Not that he was particularly good about that to begin with. Still, he would not waste any time in deliberation. He would simply go with his instincts. It was one of the few times he had felt pride since coming down from the mountains.
そう。ちょっと残念だな。私は本当に君が気に入ってたのに。まあ、こうなることは分かってたけどね。
Okay, I'm a little disappointed. I didn't want to have to kill you. Then again, thought it might end up this way.
場所はヤシロギの森林公園。受話器の下に地図があるでしょ。この前帰りがけにしおりを挟んでおいたから、それを参考にすること。
She's at Yashirogi Nature Park. Check the map under the phone. I bookmarked the page last time I was there.
繰り返すようだけど、10分持てば幸運。その後は1分ごとに奇跡の価値が上がるような状況よ。今の彼女は。
I'll say it again. You'll be lucky if you have 10 minutes. It'll be a miracle if she lasts a minute longer. Yeah, he goes over and she's just a leg. It's like, oh my god. As he listened, Sojiro's expression turned to one of irritation. Misaki and Yashirogi were one station apart. Well, you better run, my boy. How long would it take to get to the station from the mansion? usually just under 12 minutes. By that time, by the time he got off the train at Yashirogi, nearly 30 minutes would have passed.
地図の上じゃ近いのに、区画整理された交通手段は不便よね。けど、急げば最終の電車には間に合うわ。ここで諦めた方が賢明だけど、君はもう私の敵だから。
It looks close on the map, but the transport links around here are terrible. You might be able to catch the last train, but should you cut your losses, either way, you're my enemy now.
どっちにしたって、後悔のないようにね。
Just don't regret your choice. The line went dead. Sojiro, not Toko, had hung up the phone. He memorized the map and then made for the door. With no time to grab his coat, he ran into the snowy winter night with the clothes he had on. All that remained in the halls was the discarded map. It showed Masaki City. It was about 10 miles from the mansion to the nature park. 5 if you went in a straight line, but the streets were not that forgiving. 4 inches on the map, but so much farther in reality. For the first time, Sojiro cursed this town. He's like, I should have just stayed up in the mountains, dog. Okay, meanwhile, it's like, Alice's injuries were not limited to her abdomen. The wolf had punched a hole straight through her back, crushing her lower vertebrae and leaving both of her legs paralyzed. Though her magic crest were repairing the damage, it would likely take another hour before recovery. Damn, is that how fucking powerful magic crest are, bro? She could be paralyzed and just like in an hour later she's like walking again? Damn, bro. Fuck, it took Johnny Joestar an entire part just to get his legs back, dog. Like, what the fuck? And she could do that shit in 1 fucking hour? It's crazy. At the very least, her heart and slender arm still worked. Although, after crawling along the ground to the phone booth, those too were failing her. As the crest healed her wounds, a searing heat ran through her body that threatened to overwhelm her. It was as if her body was no longer her own, like she was transforming into another creature. The poison throbbing through her open wounds hurt emotionally more than physically. She was used to the pain, but she could not accept this disquieting feeling. Not that she had any intention to. The moment she did, it would be her last. Alice wrestled with the discomfort from her abdomen and her magic crests. With her consciousness holding on by a thread, she took the phone in her hand. It was unlikely Aoko would be there to pick up. Even so, with the stray dogs gathering around the booth, she had to try. It was Sojiro who picked up. Alice knew she was better off just hanging up, but his name slipped out of her mouth. After pausing and fighting with herself for some time, an image of the innocent boy came to her mind, and she hung up. Her instincts had won out. She could not let him get involved. Not too late now. And not just because he was an innocent bystander. No, that's because he is an innocent bystander. What the fuck? It was more than that. To Alice, Sojiro appeared that day because he was merely in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah, that really was, wasn't it, man? My man was like, you know, I want to enjoy the nice breeze. And he's like, all of a sudden, there's this fucking lady trying to kill me in this goddamn theme park. Only the lightest of breaths passed her lips. Above her, the moon began to blur. Snow was falling again, so close, yet so far. The dogs began hurling themselves at the phone booth to the chorus of hungry snarls. Thunk, thunk. She took one last deep breath and closed her eyes. Glass, an unusual material for a coffin. But the girl knew, in some corner of her mind, that she had made the right choice not to ask the boy for help. Well, Toko had a change of plans of that, didn't he? Didn't she? Yeah. Some times passed. A peculiar sight came into view. A field of wild flowers. The clear sky was too blue. The flowers, so numerous they made the field look barren. The sight was so dazzlingly beautiful, she wished she could look away. This was probably all thanks to Father Winter. The cold wind carried a scent of paradise far removed, untainted by man or beast. It was a glimpse of the fields beyond winter. One could be forgiven for thinking they were in the afterlife. Come to think of it, he remembered how funerals were sad, yet always beautiful. Don't mind my friend there. She cried. She made an incongruous whine, a sound of life. Her breathing was strained and erratic. Hollow and useless was the heart that she once used to fend off pain. It was as though she was in the space between disconnected body and mind. A crying woman and a silent child. High was the sky, deep was the forest, unmoving were the people. No footsteps or voices of salvation came. Who was that looking innocently up at the sky in the stillness? When she came to, Alice was going up a familiar hill. The cold night air had all but frozen her hands or feet. She shook, as you would expect from someone whose abdomen had been torn apart.
しずき
She could barely comprehend that she was being carried slowly up Shiro Inazuka. Sojiro had Alice on his back and was silently ascending the slope. Silently. His calm eyes seemed to be suffering from the bitter cold. He had not seemed to be dressed for this time of year. Not even a coat. His exposed neck and his hands were ice cold.
どうしてここにいるの
What are you doing here? Alice asked, still slumped over his frame. She tried to move, but to no avail. The last thing she wanted was to rest her entire weight on someone else.
トウコさんから電話があった。アリスが危ないって。
Toko called me. She said you were in trouble.
青崎はともかく、アリスは意地を張りすぎだ。あの状況で助けを呼ばないのはどうかしてる。そりゃ、自分が言っても何もできなかっただろうけど。
You're more stubborn than Ozaki, you know. Why didn't you ask me for help? Not that it could be much help, but still. Sojiro spoke with a scolding tone, his eyes kept firmly ahead. His words were directed at himself rather than the girl on his back.
しずきくんは関係ないもの
This doesn't concern you.
だろうね。けど、これで関係はできた。館に着いたら話してもらうぞ。
Maybe you're right. But now it does. We'll talk more back at the house. Sojiro focused on climbing the hill. The slope would get steeper from here to the mansion. The thought of Sojiro climbing this steep hill with her on his back surprised Alice.
降りるわもう大丈夫だから
Let me down. I'm fine.
お腹をむき出してかい？この方が少しは暖かいよ。
Your whole stomach is exposed. My back will keep you warm.
それに、アリスは薪より軽い。山じゃこの程度は朝飯前だから気にしないでくれ。息が上がっているのは公園まで急いだからだし。
And don't worry about it. You're lighter than firewood, so this is a cinch. I'm only out of breath from rushing to the park.
まあ、その意味はなかったんだが。
Not that I needed to hurry in the end.
なぜ
Why not?
俺が着いたら、犬はさっさと散っていった。初めからトウコさんはそういうつもりだったんだ。
As soon as I got there, the dogs ran for the hills. I'm sure Toko knew that would happen all along.
アリスをどうにかするつもりもなければ、時間制限もなかった。喜ぶべきことなんだろうけど。
She must not have meant to finish you off, which means I wasn't on a time limit. I suppose I should be thankful for small mercies. Sojiro said dejectedly. But he was wrong. While Toko did not want to kill Alice per se, she would have not cared if she had died. At least, this is the way Alice saw it. She did not know how long it took Sojiro to get to the park, but if he had not come, the phone booth would have collapsed and she would be dead. Alice did her best to suppress her thoughts and feelings. She felt silly at the thought of correcting him, and it would have mattered little anyway. The thought of her trying to thank him was more painful than her open wounds.
もしかして公園からずっと
So you carried me all the way from the park?
仕方ないだろう。電車終わってたんだから。タクシーを使えばよかったんだけど、あいにく持ち合わせがなくて。
Had to. The train stopped running. I should have gone a taxi, but didn't bring my wallet.
ほんと、今日ほどお金の不便さを思い知った日はない。
Honestly, I never felt how limiting money was until today. For the first time today, Sojiro let out a sigh. There's no point in taking a break. He already traveled so close to to 6 miles like this. Perhaps the fatigue was getting to him. Sojiro was more upset with his own weakness than rather the difficulty of the trek.
でもそれを言うならお金の大切さじゃない。
Don't you mean how important money is?
使えるものがあるのにお金がないだけで使えないんだから。それって不便って言わないか？
What I mean is, if there's something that you can only use, or if you have money, isn't that incredibly limiting? You wouldn't know, dude. She's fucking rich, okay? She owns this city. Her and Awoko own this fucking... They don't fucking care, dog. The innocence of his question made Alice briefly forget her pain. She, too, felt distant from the real world. Oh, trust me. But compared to the boy carrying her, she felt like a regular citizen.
何かあなたらしいわ。
That's just like you to say. Alice smiled to herself. As Alice rested her head, something soft touched her cheek. The collar Oko had given him.
館に着いたら着替えるんだ。お腹の血も拭って。落ち着いたら今で話そう。
Once we get back, you should change and clean up. When you're ready, we can talk in the drawing room.
瞳子さんに言わせれば、俺もこれで敵らしいから。
Toko sees me as our enemy now, too. With those words hanging in the air, they reached to the top of the hill. The gate in the woods stood before them. Beyond it, illuminated by the pale moonlight, stood the mansion. Looking up at it, the girl felt a little disappointed. A natural reaction, yet she could not place where her sadness was coming from. Once they entered the mansion, Alice slid off Sojiro's back and walked towards the west wing. The west wing was her domain. However, after only a few steps, she collapsed to the floor.
アリス！
Sojiro rushed over to her, but she raised her hand. Her gesture told him he was not to come closer. He stopped in his tracks, a concerned look on his face. Her pale skin gleamed with sweat, her expression uncharacteristically strained.
平気。部屋に戻るぐらいの力は戻ったわ。服を繕ってくるから、あなたはここにいて。
I'm fine. I can make it to my room on my own. Stay here. I'm gonna go mend to my clothes.
すぐに戻ってくるから。そうしたら。
I'll be back shortly. And then... The pained look in Alice's eyes told Sojiro they would talk later. He knew he could not stop her. Sojiro reminded himself that she was the one in pain, not him.
それじゃあ、戻ってきたら話を聞かせてくれ。
Alright then. Tell me everything when you come back. Alice took a deep breath before slowly disappearing down the corridor. An uneventful 5 minutes passed. Alice returning wearing a fresh set of black clothes, but her complexion remained pallid. With a small sigh, She carefully leaned against a pillar in the foyer and slid down until she was sitting.
アリス、傷が痛むなら無理せず横になった方がいい。
Alice, if you're in pain, you should lie down. Sojo sat across from her on the cold floor.
傷はもう痛まないわ。横になる必要もない。
I'm not in pain anymore, so I don't need to lie down.
この体の異常は七かまどを飲まされたせいだから。どうあっても治らないもの。
I was forced to swallow a Rowan, so now my body can't heal completely.
じゃあ、せめて毛布とか。
At least let me get you a blanket for you.
いいから、気遣いはしないで。ここなら寒さも関係ないから。
No. If I stay here, the cold won't bother me. She seemed to be telling the truth. Sojo remembered Aoko telling him that as long as Alice is inside the mansion, she would be comfortable.
うん。あったかいのならいい。
Okay. As long as you're warm.
それで、七かまどっていうのは。
So, what's this Rowan thing?
薬草の一種よ。7回かまどで焼いても燃え残ることから付けられた名前で、紅葉は魔除け。
It's a kind of medicinal herb. It gets its name from what's left in the cinders after it's burned 7 times in the stove, and it's used as a ward against spirits.
普通の人には良くない程度だけど、私や青子には少し厄介ね。体内での魔力生成そのものに抵抗されてしまうから、手の打ちようがない。
It's not good for regular people, but for me and Aoko, it's worse. Once it's in our bodies, it reacts badly to the production of magical energy. There's nothing we can do but wait it out.
毒と思っていいのか。
So it's a poison?
いえ、本来は薬草よ。
No, like I said, it was originally used in medicine.
今は傷を治すために魔力を使っているから苦しいけど、傷が完治すればおとなしくなるわ。魔術さえ使わなければ、七かまども反応しないから。
I'm using magical energy to heal right now, so I have to fight it. But once I'm fully healed, I'll be fine, as long as I don't use magecraft. So what's stopping her from just forcing a finger in the back of her throat and throwing it up? Is it, can she not do that? I feel like that'd be the first thing I would do. I don't know. I don't know.
単純な話、七かまどを消化するまで、私は役には立たないだけ。
Basically, I won't be of any use until I fully digest it. Alice paused. She decided not to say how many days it would take.
別に、しずきくんが心配することじゃないわ。
Anyway, there's nothing you need to worry about.
こんなの、血が流れる程度の痛みだから。
I can manage the pain. It's just a result of my circulation. She worked hard to keep her tone calm. Alko had barely blinked when she was struck in the back, so mages must have an unusually high pain threshold. Sojo was surprised and bewildered by what she said. If wounds didn't count as long as the pain wasn't too bad, then nothing would hurt except an injury that could kill you.
わかった。話をするのは明日にしよう。今日はとにかく体を休めてほしい。
Fine. Let's talk tomorrow. For now, I want you to rest.
明日になっても、私の容体は変わらないけど。
I won't be any better then.
いいんだ、それでも。アリスはもっと体を大事にしてくれ。
It doesn't matter. You need to take better care of yourself. He stood up.
部屋まで送るよ。
Thanks for making me
そ
read
れ
that
と
again.
も今で休むか？西館には入ったことはないから、アリスの部屋もわからないし。
I'll take you to your room. Or how about the drawing room? I've never been to the West Wing, so I don't know where your room is.
ここでいいわ。青子を待たなくちゃいけないから。
I'm fine here. I need to be here when Aoko comes back. Alice looked up at the skylight. The moonlight illuminated her pained face. The fire looked like it belonged to a rundown castle. Only the moon and Alice seemed more vivid than reality. Where did her strength come from? Sojiro stared at her. Without understanding the significance of Alice's gaze, he turned his gaze to the night sky, powerless as it was. Well, with the sound of the ringing phone, I think that's where we're going to end it, ladies and gentlemen. There we go. There was the conclusion of that. That was kind of an anticlimactic ending to that fight, right? I mean, it's like, oh shit, they just started and it ended. That's cool, man. It's like Alice just fucking Alice just fucking okay, let me get out of this before I get annoyed. There we go. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's going to be the end of today's video. Like I said, you know, it's kind of an anticlimactic end to that fight. But other than that, ready to see what's happening next, man. Let's see what happens on Aoko's side this time. So I will see you guys next time. It is your boy White Album, signing out.